Hi, everyone. I'm Even, and I'm with my partner Cindy, and we're going to give our winter quarter 2022 update for the project Opportunistic Collective Experiences for Relationship Development. For our problem statement, busy people are looking to expand their social circles and make new friends without dedicating too much time and effort in their schedule. And the current conceptual approach is using social media. But socializing digitally, although it's very convenient and can help lower time commitment, they require a lot of effort to reach out and determine appropriate topics for conversations. So think like the last time you messaged a stranger on Facebook or on Instagram, it's usually people usually don't do it because there's a high effort to come up with the conversation topic, and you're uncertain of how they'll respond to your conversation starters. And there are apps such as Hinge where they provide you an ice-breaking prompt, and then you can respond and talk to them. But sometimes the responses can be irrelevant to the conversation that you're hoping to start. And second, the responses could be unusually restrictive and then cause the future conversations to be restricted to that specific topic. And whereas when socializing in person, you can use shared physical affordances, such as stickers on a laptop, to start conversations with someone. Or if you see someone studying, you can ask them about what they're studying based off of the shared context of being in a library and also seeing someone studying. And we believe that we can combine the best of both worlds. And so our design argument is that we can keep the best of both worlds by detecting physical affordances to provide opportunistic situated prompts, and strangers can complete them in a convenient manner, and the shared situations make it easy to establish the common grounding to start conversations. For our technical approach, in order to detect the situations, we use location tracking and time tracking in mobile devices for situation detection. And once users are detected for a situation, the app will prompt users with situated prompts such as, what keeps you motivated while studying? When users are studying, are detected to be studying at a library, and then users can submit a photo and a caption to respond to that prompt. Paired users who have both completed their experiences will receive each other's responses, and then we call this like response from both persons the opportunistic collective experiences, or OCEs. And from the pilot study done at the end of last fall and a status update earlier this quarter, we have identified the main obstacle. Users do not have much interactions after completing after both completing OCEs, and thus the self-disclosure is only limited to CE submission. So there's not much following up conversation happening. And then there are three issues that we have identified to the main obstacles. One is usability. The OCE results and chat are separated into two separate interfaces and two separate tabs on the phone. And it does not seem intuitive for the users to give reactions or comments after seeing someone else's sharing. So right now before they have to go see the results in the result tab and then navigate to chat to respond to that person. And second is prompt design. During these two tests, we realized that some prompts are too specific or too general. So users end up answering whatever they want. For example, if they're just going to the cafe to grab a coffee and leave, getting a prompt like, where are you sitting, is irrelevant to them. So they will end up answering whatever they think of at the time or something irrelevant. On the other hand, when the prompts are too general, such as asking them, what is your favorite corner of this place? Although users may end up answering relevant prompts, those prompts are usually not enough to start conversations and could be totally different depending on user interpretation. And then lastly, we currently don't have a matching and pairing process. So for our pilot studies, we just paired two people together. And then the odds of people being randomly paired and also becoming good friends is comparatively low. So to address risk number one, app usability, we started integrating result views into chat as an accordion. So that way users can open and close the OCEs in the chat space without disrupting the flow of conversation.
So the second risk we're seeing is with the prompt design. The obstacle is that prompts are too specific and not applicable to all locations under the same situations. As a result, users ended up sharing what they feel like sharing at the moment. So the responses did not end up contributing to a successful initial common grounding for starting new conversations. Users also disclose details about the situations they're in, but the responses are not interesting enough to start for their partner to start a new conversation, or the conversation is sort of stuck at a very surface level. So in order to try to overcome the obstacles, we have brainstorm many different types of prompts or potential C activities this quarter in order to increase interactions after both people submitting and OCE. So the one type of prompts we're currently looking deeper into is the prompt about why users would voluntarily revisit certain locations in their daily lives. And by voluntarily revisit, we mean places that people would go during their free time instead of like classrooms or buildings on campus that people would go for classroom meetings. We think that this type of prompts can promote self-disclosure about personal identities, favorites, preferences, and interests. For example, users may have a tendency going to a certain type of restaurants because of their own background. So we think that this type of prompts can show more of their personal favorites and preferences in their mundane life moments and serve as commonality that strangers can easily relate to or start conversations. And the third risk we're seeing is with the matching and pairing process. And so the obstacle is that because users are paired randomly, their inherent limitations, such as both people not completing enough collective experience together due to differences in their schedules. Users have also expressed disappointments when their partner does not match their effort level in responding to some of the situated prompts. So one idea we have is CollectiveExperience bundles. So after doing CEs with their randomly paired partner for a certain period of time, we create new pairs and present the new pairs with their previous CE submissions together in a bundle by matching users based on most amount of overlaps in CEs and similar effort level in responses. And we hope that by doing this, we can increase the probability of matching compatible pairs who will have more CEs and share similarities to start conversations off of. So in order to evaluate some of the previous ideas, we have conducted one user testing to test out the prompt about personal habits and preferences. So the research question we propose is, do prompts asking about preferences or favorites at locations encourage more conversations and relatable moments? We ran a 5-day study with 6 users using Cerebro. These users are current and incoming DTR students. And we have 8 situations coded into Cerebro, such as library, restaurant, cafe, etc. And each situation has a prompt asking about the preferences and habits in those situations. And here's something we did differently this time. So in order to maximize the chances of users seeing someone else's OCEs, so we can really see whether the prompts encourages more, the responses coming from the prompts encourages more conversations. Users are not prepared with anyone, and they would see a result as soon as another user in the pool submits to the same OCE. The main takeaway we have is that the timing of this user study is probably not very ideal. People were probably very busy during the finals week, so the submission rate is pretty low, and there are almost no post-OC interactions happened for us to investigate whether the prompts is whether our hypotheses are true or not. On the other hand, we did see a few responses that show self-disclosure about personal preferences, allocations, and had good potentials for starting new conversations. But just given the submission amount we have, we would like to see more evidence to validate this takeaway. So for our next steps, We want to refine our user study plan to include the experience bundle into the user testing, and rerun the study at a better timing when most people are not busy with their schoolworks or exams. And we also want to continue explore more on the interface arguments about how different types of prompts or interaction mechanisms can encourage more meaningful self-disclosure between strangers and increase connectedness. That's the end of our winter 2022 quarter update video. Thank you so much for listening.